Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. We're here for round 9 at Interlagos tonight, so it's going to be quite an interesting race. Before we get in it, as always, welcome Alex. It's another night of Monday Night Lights.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. Thank you for having me once again. It's great to be here at Interlagos. Some fantastic racing to be had this week. Looks like a good field has turned up once again, Bernie, for the main race for the Australia-New Zealand club. We've got the third highest strength of field for the week once again. So fantastic lineup of cars sitting at around 3,400, 3,467 is the strength of field. Looking forward to a great race once again, Bernie.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race, and as you said, a great turnout. And sorry, folks, my overlays have just crashed, so we'll try again. It's just restart them. Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race. Great lineup, 4 splits, I think it was tonight, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, yeah, 4 splits, as you say. Similar sort of turnout for most of the week. It's been quite popular, usually going 2 to 3 splits just for your run-of-mill races during the week. After having some quite technical tracks that sort of kept some of the less experienced skippy drivers away, to have a track like Interlagos, also used for F1 races, of course, in the real world. A bit more open layout, still some technical bits to keep the regulars and the high-level guys interested, but certainly very accessible to the masses, Bernie. So once again, the skippies bringing out a big field, quite strong here in the top split with many of our regulars here. Interesting to note that current series leader Russell Clark, I think, is in the field from what I can see. Yes, he is, but we're missing Luke Whitten, who's also in second at this stage. So once again, I think work commitment's keeping him away, Bernie.
Yeah, and we'll have a quick look at the track. So wind speed out there today, 17 kilometres an hour. Track temp a scorching 40 degrees Celsius, so the guys are going to feel that definitely today. But the air temp out off the track, 26 degrees, so massive temperature fluctuations from 26 right up to 40 on track temp.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. It's been interesting. We've had overcast conditions here in some races, which led us to, 20 to 25 degrees, all the way up to the mid-40s. So quite a variance in track conditions here this week, and a variety of times and performances as a result. The quicker guys tonight, you're probably looking as the first time start coming in. They might duck into the 49s in these conditions in qualifying, Bernie, but certainly in the race I expect to see 1 minute 49s for the faster guys here. But already we're seeing a tight cluster of times with the opening laps. The top 10 are all within, top 11 now, all within 7 or 8 tenths, all the way, I beg your pardon, all the way down to 11th position, yeah, all within 7 tenths, Bernie. So a tight field early on.
Definitely is, and Dennis Johansson's on provisional pole, and it's changing all the time out there, folks. The fastest time at the moment, 150.212, and that goes to Dennis Johansson. But let's have a look at our point score, because this is changing between Russell Clark and Luke Whitten. But as you said, Alex, Luke isn't here tonight, so Russell will be looking at extending that lead. He's currently leading on 197 points. Luke Whitten's on 171 points. Brian Inglis sitting there in third on 132 points. Kevin Henderson, well, he's jumped up a spot on 117 points. He's now in fourth, and Mick Gray's also on the move. He's jumped up 3 spots, and he's sitting fifth on 114, just 1 point in front of Ken Hyams at the moment.
Yeah, interesting to say there's a bit of jumping around. Well, of course, Luke Whitten, who's not here again tonight, rapidly running out of races in hand, so to speak. So we count the best 8 of 12 rounds. So he's still got a couple of races in hand, and probably odds on to take it out if he can manage to get back for one of these events, Bernie. Great to see Brian Inglis leading second split runner. Of course, those of you who are new to the series, we do score all splits tonight down to the 4th split. All get the top 12 positions in each split, get points. Higher points on offer in the top split here tonight, of course. Also great to see Mick Gray with a race in hand, sitting on 114 points. So I'd expect with a good result here tonight, there's every chance that Mick will jump up into the top 3, Bernie. So plenty on offer for the guys on track tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Bob Battala, we saw go across the line. He did not improve, so he's sitting in second. But Dennis Johansson, well, he's just put an underline onto that provisional pole with a 150.002, so he's just about in the 149s.
Yeah, very, very tight once again as those second laps start rolling in. Bernie, with about a minute and a half, or just under left in the qualifying session, all the way down to 13th position with Dennis Fiedler making another appearance in the top split, all separated by 8/10, if you can believe it. Less than a second between the top 13 cars, with still a few guys out on track, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see Sam Katakazinos out there at the moment. From what I understand, he is streaming live tonight on Twitch TV. So if you want to put his stream up while you're watching the broadcast, by all means do. And you go to Twitch TV/Sam Katakazinos Racing. And you can see the spelling of his surname right in front of you on the overlay.
Absolutely. Similarly, Dennis Johansson up the front of the field, he's streaming as well. Race Driver 77 is his channel on Twitch. Personally, what I like to do is I like to have a couple of going on separate monitors, Bernie, and then the broadcast in the middle. So it makes for a fantastic coverage of the race at all angles. So certainly Twitch is an interesting innovation. You can interact with the drivers live, and if it's anything like me, you might put them off and put them into a wall. But, that's the risk you run, isn't it?
Oh, well, that's right. Well, that's half the fun of Twitch, isn't it? It's a bit of a different way of broadcasting than the traditional YouTube way, but a lot of fun by any means. Now, we're seeing Carlos Sorrentes currently sitting in 6th position as he comes across the line now, and he doesn't improve. I think these guys are probably pretty much done their qualifying, and we must be just about at the end. We are.
Yeah, well timed, Bernie. The clock just ticked over there, and the guys will be thinking about taking the grid.
Okay, so as the grid stands tonight, Dennis Johansson, he starts from pole position, followed by Bob Battala in second. Sam Katakazinos qualified in third tonight. Borja Zazo in fourth. Fifth is Gonzalo Camara. 6, Carlos Sorrentes, followed by Kevin Henderson. David McDonald will start out of 8th, followed by Ben Snell in 9th. Mick Gray will be starting out of 10th tonight. Russell Clark down there in 11th, followed by Cesar Armengod in 12th. Dennis Fiedler out of 13th. Alex John out of 14th. Benjamin Soko, he'll start out of 15th. And rounding out your field of 16 is Inigo Bayer.
Yeah, it's a great field to kick us off tonight, Bernie, and of course a little bit of trivia for the folks at home as well. If you want to check out some iRacing information and colour off to the side, Gonzalo Camara, who's currently sitting in 5th on the grid, he runs a website called Box This Lap, so make sure you check that out as well, Bernie.
Yeah, fantastic, and it's great to see a lot of different personalities getting out there promoting our hobby, and it's just growing so quickly. It's fantastic to see.
Absolutely, there's plenty on offer for people in and on the track and off, so to speak, whether it be the Top Split podcast hosted by yours truly, or just some of the live streaming or the great broadcasts here at RRTV, Bernie. But right now, we're looking down the barrel of 13 laps of on-track action.
Yeah, we certainly are, and we're under starters' orders now, so the revs will be rising. We can hear him in the background. Keep an eye on Dennis Johansson. He will be starting from pole, and Bob Battala. But underway here at Interlagos, 14 laps, and well, now it says 13 laps, but nice clean start so far coming into the centre S's for the first time, and oh boy, Dennis just cuts across and takes the lead, followed by Bob Battala, Sam Katakazinos, and they come through centre S for the first time.
Yeah, fantastic start. Looks like everyone's got through cleanly. Very, very challenging part of the track there. Of course, leading out onto the longest straight section at least. Plenty of passing opportunities here into turn 4 as they come down for the first time, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see them going through, and we'll keep on looking back on the field. Too wide back here, Caesar and Mick Gray by the looks of it. Or was that Ben Snell? And I tell you what, Russell's got a lot of work to do. He's down there in about 12th at the moment and dropping another position.
Yeah, he's one spot down from where he started. It's hard work back there. Elbows will be out early on as guys try to progress early into the field, as we see as it sees a dive up the inside of Mick Gray there. Mick thinking discretion, potentially the better part of valour there, left the door open, but running wide on the inside of the next corner, leaves him on the outside as they approach turn 10 there, Bernie. He's hung out to dry, so to speak, with Ben Snell sniffing up the inside.
And I think there might have been a little bit of contact there with Caesar. I saw Caesar's car sort of jink a little bit, but it would have been a very slight touch. But in the meantime, up front, Dennis Johansson is starting to get a bit of a gap over Bob Battala, and it looks like they're starting to drop some of the other drivers off the back here.
Yeah, long train of cars at the moment on the opening lap. There weren't any incidents, you'd expect that. All the guys in that leading train there, all the way down to 8th position with Kevin Henderson, all within sort of half to 3/4 of a second, so they haven't been dropped yet, and Dennis is not out in clear air too much as yet. The guys are all trying to sort themselves out again, but further back down in the pack, too wide through turn 1 and 2 again as they try to set themselves up for that long straight. Costly if you get it wrong there, Bernie, or even if you just pass through there clumsily, because the pack chasing behind you gets a great run and into what is probably the best passing opportunity on the track at turn 4, Bernie.
Yeah, we're just riding with Sam Katakazinos at the moment. Top speed, 192 kilometres an hour in the draft. And Sam's looking great out here tonight.
Yeah, fantastic run for Sam. He's been quite strong here this week, along with many others having good races and bad, because along with the high speeds and the good drafting here, little mistakes can be costly, and plenty of contact throughout the field in different races. But Sam really on pace tonight, sitting up in 3rd position, currently up with Bob Battala and Dennis Johansson, with Borgia right on his tail.
Yeah, so he's definitely in good company out there, and just having a look, a few of the others. Carlos Sorrentes at the moment sitting in 6th, and he's dropped Kevin Henderson, and he's having a battle with Gonzalo Camara. Kevin Henderson, as I said, is in 7th, and he's got David McDonald back behind him in 8th, so those two are fighting. And then further back we've got Caesar and Ben Snell having a great battle, and then Mick Gray, well, he's starting to get his mirrors full with Russell Clark.
Yeah, Mick Gray dropped out of that turn 1-2 complex there, got a poor run out and is now being dropped off the back. You'll notice Kevin Henderson that you were talking about, there's the big gap from the lead pack, so he's now 1.3 seconds behind the leaders, with Mark McDonald sniffing at his heel. They've been dropped by that lead pack, who are now approaching turn 1 for lap 3, Bernie.
Yeah, and we can see them come back into Center S's, 11 laps to go here, and nice big battle pack up the front. But Carlos is the last one on that battle pack, and then, as I said, Kevin Henderson's a ways back.
Yeah, great to see Carlos up with that front pack. He's become a Monday night favourite here with his pink Sprinters jersey livery. Unfortunately, he hasn't always had the best of runs, but as they come down into turn 4, side by side, Sam Katakazinos and Borgia by the looks, great to see Carlos Sorrentes making a good fist of the early runnings, Bernie.
Yeah, and we saw in the background there was an incident coming out of Center S's. We'll go back to a replay and see who was involved in that once things settle down. But at the moment, Gonzalo and Borgia are having a crack at this, and looks like Carlos wants to come into the party. And I tell you what, there's a party of about 6 at the moment.
Yeah, up the front there, I've got Bob Battala leading out now, with Dennis Johansson just slipping in behind. But certainly, there's going to be a lot of changing positions potentially here, depending on the strategy of the different guys here. Of course, those wanting to be right up front, with Dennis is really tucked in behind Bob Battala at the moment, Bernie. A lot of guys will prefer to be up front rather than risk getting caught and shuffled back in the pack once the draft kicks in, as they head around the main straights, which does have turn 13, 14 and 15 in concert with each other as they head up towards the start-finish line, of course. But as you see, Dennis Johansson running up the inside now, the inside of Bob Battala, looking once again to try and recapture the lead as Sam Katakazinos ranges up on the back and looks to just settle in behind for another lap, Bernie.
Yeah, we're having a look at the replay here, and poor Russell Clark was involved in that. He went off the track a little bit. As he came back on, another car ran into the side of him, but the other driver involved in that. So we've got Dennis Fiedler involved, and Benjamin Soko was also involved, but the person that got him was, who was it? I think it was a number 16, No, it wasn't. But
No, it was Ingio Bayer. Unfortunately, as you say, Russell ran on the inside of turn 3 there, and as he came back on, he picked up Inigo Bayer, and then followed closely by car number 6, Benjamin Soko, who also got a little bit of a touch through there, although he looks like he might have got out of it okay by the looks, Bernie.
And while we were watching that replay, Sam Catakazinos has snatched the lead from Bob Batala. Gonzalo's up in 3rd, and Dennis Johansson all of a sudden is sitting down in 4th position.
Wow, that's a big change of events. You can see what I mean about making the most of the draft there. Otherwise, you can get, making the best of the front runnings. Otherwise, you can get gobbled up by that pack. Our early pole sitter and front runner Dennis Johansson now sitting back in 4th in the middle of this busy pack, which now extends all the way down, if you can believe it, to about 8th place as Kevin Henderson and David McDonald now look to join on to the action after Dennis Johansson running wide out of one of the most important corners on the track leading on to the front straight. Tries to pull back into line now, but he'll be under intense pressure from Borgia. But as I was saying, Kevin and David McDonald now really working hard with all the action on front, slowing them down to get back onto this lead pack and make it a pack of 8, Bernie.
And Bob Batala's got a great toe there, and he takes the lead. And Sam's in 2nd, but Gonzalo's having a look. He thinks twice, pulls back in. Dennis Johansson got his mirrors full of Borgia, but he's also now putting the attack on Gonzalo. And fantastic battle here.
Yeah, I'd expect Dennis to either think about making a solid move up the inside of turn 4 as he moves across to the inside. Likewise, Sam Catagazinos, you can afford to run too wide through here. It's the best passing opportunity, as I was suggesting, but the guy on the outside has also got the opportunity, depending on how he plays his cards, for the run up the hill into turn 7 and potentially, they're all pulling back into line now. You can run up the inside here into turn 7 as Sam takes a defensive line and snaffle the inside run into turn 8. But the guy's still thinking about saving that, although no Gonzalo. Pulls up pulls up the inside of Bob there, pokes the nose up there, thinks about going up the inside of turn 8, pulls in now, just shows the nose, makes him think twice about it, but equally he's got to be thinking to himself, I don't want to upset the run too much because there's a slim chance that Sam Catagazinos will pull away, as right now he's opened up a 0.6 of a second lead, Bernie.
Yeah, he's starting to get a bit of a gap on these guys as they battle it out, but I tell you what, at the moment, probably the top 6, any of these guys could win this race tonight with 9 laps to go. Dennis made a great move on Gonzalo at the end of that straight and moved to 3rd, but now he's starting to put the pressure on Bob Batala. Better run onto the straight, main straight there by Dennis, so I reckon he'll be having a go at the end of this straight.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately for Kevin and David, they seem intent on battling and keeping themselves off the back of this pack. So once again, out to a second's gap between them and the front runners as they run nose to tail. And almost looks like David's trying to bump draft Dennis there, which is a bit of a no-no in these cars, as the leaders now once again try to settle back single file through the opening series of corners, Bernie.
Yeah, so Sam will be keeping an eye on his mirrors now as they come down the back straight and see what that toe is. But I tell you what, he'll have a grin from ear to ear tonight as he leads round 9. Dennis Johansson now having a look on the inside of Bob Batala and see if he can make that move stick. It looks like he's going to, and he'll be moving his way back up now to try and take the lead.
Yeah, it's amazing how many change of positions we've had here already, Bernie, with the impact of the draft coming to the fore. Bob Batala sensibly there, getting out of the throttle, letting Dennis pull back into line as he knew he had the better run, and with the draft now, they really just wanted to settle in, not let Sam get away, because as soon as they get outside that magic 1.2 seconds, that Sam could potentially have a run all of his own, and then the guys will be left to battle over the minor places, Bernie. But for now, looks like they're all bunched up again, all the way back down to Carlos Sorrentes in 6th position, Bernie.
Yeah, and David McDonald's just cleared Kevin Henderson for 7th, and Kevin's got Caesar and Ben behind him. But now we'll see if David can try to bridge this gap and get onto this front battle pack of 6. As we can see, Sam Catagazinos now leading Dennis Johansson back onto the straight. Dennis is looking a lot neater this time through once again, so I think he's got his race face on.
Yeah, it looks like he might sort of pull up on the inside here, potentially look to take Sam for the lead, Yeah, as he does exactly that right now as they go past pit entry for the end of lap 6 now, Bernie. It really shows the difference of what battling can do, though, because you see David and Kevin, who were right back into this, now they've dropped back once again 2 seconds behind this lead pack, and they've almost been swallowed by the guys behind as the leaders go through the first 3-turn complex there, doing well once again. Sam looking to pull up the inside. Looks like got the better run on Dennis there, even without the draft, as they exited turn 3 onto that lengthy straight there. And now both Sam and Dennis are coming under attack from Bob Batala. Interesting to see how this one plays out, Bernie.
Yeah, and Bob tucks back in there. He decides it's probably better not to risk it yet, but Carlos Sorrentes got the fastest lap that time in the tow, 1:49.512. So, but Dennis Johansson out the front, his best time was a 1:49.583.
Yeah, amazing what a 5-car tow will do for you in regards to getting the quickest lap, isn't it? But it's good to see them ducking into the 1:49.5s. That's a good pace around here under these conditions, and certainly once again, like I said, great to see Carlos up the pointy end of the field, and looks to be driving a really sensible race here tonight, not looking to pressure people before it's actually warranted, and at the same time not risking his race or anyone else's for the sake of early lap positions, and really saving up all his energy for the closing stages, Bernie.
Yeah, well, 7 laps to go here. It's going to go pretty quickly. We're already about 6 laps down, so we're just about at the halfway mark where we will be this time. So your top 5: Dennis Johansson, followed by Sam Catacasinos, Bob Batala tucked in there in 3rd, Gonzalo Camara 4th, 5th is Borja Zazo.
I tell you what, Kevin Henderson's got a wriggle on in 7th position. He's almost bridged that gap again, and I didn't think these guys have been battling so hard up front, but must just be some fantastic pace from Kevin as he pulled a 150 dead last lap, half a second. Oh, there's a big action up the front. Looks like Dennis has got into the rear of Sam there, Bernie.
Okay, we'll go back and have a look at that replay now, and it looks like, unfortunately, Sam's carrying quite a bit of damage, and he's pulled aside and he's letting the people through.
Yeah, it looked like Sam ran a bit deep into turn 1, perhaps missed his braking there, out on his lonesome, and then he's got a really poor run compared to, a really compromised run, I should say, compared to Dennis, and Dennis went to go by. Sam was just a little bit wider. I wouldn't call that defensive. I'd just say he was just a bit offline, and Dennis didn't sort of followed him as he went wide and turned him, unfortunately, and we've ended up with the leader being taken out by the guy in 2nd. Hopefully no one else went with him. No, just those two as Dennis Johansson rejoined the track, and it appears as though, as you say, Sam might be carrying a bit of damage, Bernie.
Yeah, well, Sam got all sideways. Bob Batala straightened him out, but he's got a whack in the back, a whack in the front, and as you can see there, he stepped aside, knowing his car's not up for race pace. He's probably just checking the suspension, the steering, and we'll see how he goes, but that was extremely costly. He dropped all the way down to 10th position.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just checking out on his stream. Doesn't seem to be carrying too much damage, and certainly no what we call a meatball flag, which indicates you need to pit for damage or else get disqualified. He's sitting on the back of Ben Snell at the moment as they run up the main straight and out across the line at the end of lap 8. He seems to be able to continue, and it certainly took a very aggressive line out of the final corner as Ben Snell just almost clipped Caesar in front of him, almost unsettled the rear of the car on the straight, if you can believe it. Things really starting to heat up towards the end of the race, Ben.
Yeah, they certainly are. So at the moment, Bob Batala, he's got 0.5 of a second lead, and see if he can actually break that slipstream. I doubt he will. But Dennis Johansson now in 2nd, Gonzalo 3rd, 4th, Borja, Carlos Sorrentes. Having a look now, and Borja is sitting in 5th position.
Yeah, Carlos again making a great fist of a good race for him, although Kevin Henderson now hot on his tail. That gap and that incident in the first few corners of the last lap, or the preceding lap to this one, really brought everyone back into play. So you're looking all the way down to Sam Catacasinos in 10th, all in this lead pack as they go 3 wide now, as they head on the run up through turn 7 into turn 8 now. Things are really starting to heat up with a balance of 5 laps remaining, Ben.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's still anyone's race here. Apart from that, a couple of incidents we've seen. Russell Clark was involved in one, Benjamin Soko, and the latest was Sam, but no retirements here at the moment. Benjamin and Russell, they both had to pit for fast repairs. They're sitting down at 15th and 16th, but it's all action stations up the front.
Yeah, it looks like Ben and Benjamin and Russell are having a fair old ding-dong battle amongst themselves, Bernie. But yeah, the top 10 cars now really just having a raging battle here. It's a long snake as they head up through that 13, 14, 15 snaking corner, series of corners over to the finish line as they come to the end of lap 9 now. I tell you what, everyone all the way back down to Sam, our previous leader, would be thinking they've got a chance of a top 5, if not a podium at this point, Bernie.
Yeah, and we'll keep an eye on Sam to see if he can fight back. A new fastest lap time, David McDonald set a 1:49.433. David sitting down there in 7th, and no doubt the tow had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, we're up to a 6-car tow to get the fastest lap of the race, Bernie. Interesting to see that Dennis Johansson can't have picked up too much damage out of that incident. I'm just going to check if no, his front wing's still there. It's just a little bit bent. Won't be hampering him too much, I should say, as the guys head through turn 4 again. Single file, not too much action by way of passing here. Everyone's sort of getting clean runs, so Dennis really is just starting to put pressure. Pokes the nose up the inside there through turn 6, but not looking to put too much pressure on at this stage, Bernie.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, if it's like this in 3 laps time, folks, hold on to your hats, because there's going to be fireworks in that final lap, and it's the top 5, anyone can take this race.
Yeah, well, there's a few key points on this track, like many others, that you're looking to put pressure and potentially overtake. The final opportunity you've got is to make a setup through the corner there that they'll be approaching shortly, as they're coming up to it now in turn 12. Final corner before that long snaking straight we were talking about before. You really want to set up, get a nice early apex here, maximise your drive out, really open up the corner on entry and get your maximum drive out. If you're anything within about 4/10 and you get an equal or better drive out of that turn 12, as they bend up now through this long straight section now, you can actually pass by the line. So whether you've set up for that or you've got it done earlier, as you see Dennis Johansson now go up the inside to take the lead as they finish lap 10, Bernie, that there's a potential win on the offing even at that late stage, Bernie.
Yeah, well, we're riding there with Gonzalo Camara in the cockpit, and you could really see how much that tow improves, and he actually lifted to make sure he sits back there in 3rd, so he's feeling fairly confident. I guess, Alex, if you were in this battle pack last lap, where would you prefer to be?
Well, look, 3rd place is probably not going to win it. It's either going to be 1st or 2nd. So at this stage of the race, if I'm in Gonzalo's cockpit, I'll be looking to make one position this lap and then look to defend it and attack at the same time for the remaining 2 after. Very difficult to win it from 3rd position if there's even with a strong draft. I'd want to be in first or second. If I was in 2nd position, I'm looking to do what we described slightly earlier as Kevin Henderson making a move up the inside of Carlos Sorrentis there into turn 8. He looks like he's made that stick, has he? Yes, he has. Carlos now relegated down to 6th position. But if I was in 2nd position, I'd be looking to maximise my drive and draft as discussed, because you can get through, as Carlos pokes the nose up again through turn 10 this time. However, if I was in 1st position, I'd be looking to get an equally good drive and then just hug the inside, Bernie. Make the guy use every bit of the draft and try and defend up the inside wall. Make him go around the long way, Bernie.
Yeah, well, I think Bob's showing his hand. We'll see what he does this time. But last time by, he actually went really wide and he let Dennis through on the inside. And I think Bob is thinking he may want to prefer to be in 2nd when this last lap occurs, but saying that he's going to make a liar of him and he's having a look on the inside, maybe doing a bit of a test to see if he can get that slingshot, and he takes the lead again.
Yeah, interestingly there, Dennis left the door wide open as we see Bob Batala run wide, compromise his line. Hopefully we won't see a repeat there of the previous incident between Dennis and Sam Catagazinos. Dennis forced to run wide, really compromise his apex. He'll be under threat from Gonzalo here. Gonzalo looking to really use the draft that's been offered to him by Bob Batala, who's held a defensive line. That's really going to compromise Dennis into here, although Dennis has held strong around the outside and is probably in a great position now to keep Gonzalo at bay. So great driving by the front three there, Bernie.
Yeah, side by side, Dennis Gonzalo. Dennis has the inside. Also right behind him, Kevin Henderson and who was that just parted him? Borja passed him, but now Carlos Sorrentes. Oh, and Carlos has got airborne and he's hit Kevin.
Wow, that was a big incident, wasn't it? If I go back and have a look up there, Carlos never really in control. We talk about what a good run he's been having tonight. He was never in full control there as they headed up through turn 6 there, and he's cut too much off the grass on the inside of turn 6 there, he's flipped over Kevin Henderson there, who was really on the strongest fight back I've seen from Kevin in a long time. So that's a very disappointing end to both of them, Bernie.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, speaking of flipping out, I reckon Kevin Henderson would have flipped out over that one as we see him take to the air, and that's probably about a 8 out of 10. Oh no, we'll make it up to a 9 because he ripped the nose off in that pirouette.
Well, if he stuck the landing, the Russian judge would have scored him highly, I'm sure. So, but back up the front, we see as they come up for the penultimate time across the line now, we see Bob Battaglia taking a very defensive line, forcing Dennis Johansson to go wide around turn 1. He's not quite nailed the break. He's done very well there. He's almost clipped the back of Bob Battaglia as they run through there, but he's really got an excellent drive out of turn 2 into turn 3 now, as he had to compromise his run through turn 1, but he's done such a fantastic job now to move up the inside of Bob Battaglia as they head down the straight now for the final time into turn 4. Dennis now happily accepting Bob Battaglia's invitation to take the lead. Bob could have really shut the door on him there as Gonzalo Camara now forced wide, and we see David McDonald cut up the inside into position number 4 now, again poking his nose up the inside of is that in front of him? Borja now sitting in 3rd position, Bernie, as they approach the final series of corners on the final lap, Bernie.
Yeah, and Bob's definitely happy to sit in the back in that second. He wasn't happy to go back in 3rd as he cut off Borja there when he tried to make a move. David McDonald, it must be said, is the biggest mover and shaker I've seen so far. He's already up to 4th and he's made his way through the field. But it's going to come down to the top 3 here. Let's jump on board now with Bob Battaglia, because I have a suspicion it's going to be an extremely close finish here.
Yeah, Bob's missed the apex of that final corner. Dennis has got the better run out, it has to be said. Bob didn't get the best run out there, and what's he now? He's about 0.3 or 0.3 seconds now. I'm not sure that he's got the run here. I'm not sure he's done enough to get past. I think this is Dennis's race now, and in fact, David's going to put just as much. Borja's going to put just as much pressure on here as they come across the line now. Dennis just held on, I think, Bernie.
Yeah, he certainly did, by about half a car length there. So let's jump back and see how Carlos is hanging on to 7th. Then we've got Mick Gray right behind him in 8th. Just having a look further, Sam Catacozino, he had to pit in the end to get that car fixed, and he came home in 13th position. Where did Kevin Henderson came home in 9th with a severely beat up car, but it must be said, at least his tyres are going to be his toes are going to be cool, but that car's crabbing pretty badly, so well done to Kevin to hold on to 9th position.
Yeah, I think the order's starting to settle down now. I got him in 12th, unfortunately for Kevin, down 5 spots off the grid, and as you say, he'd be reaching for the heat pack tonight to warm up his toes. But it was interesting. It did come down to that final corner in the end, as I think Russell Clark and Benjamin Soko now are just about to come across the line to complete the final positions in the race down in 15th and 16th, Bertie. They've had a battle unto themselves, and looks like Russell's going to win out in that little mini battle. It did come down to that final corner, as we saw Dennis really, he sort of had a poor run out of the corner preceding, but then when push came to shove in those final moments that really mattered, he nailed turn 12, and Bob Battaglia missed the apex, causing him to run a little bit wider and not get the optimal line, and that was enough to keep him ahead by 3/100ths of a second, Bernie. That's all it was in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but I tell you what, Bob knew what he wanted to do, but he just messed up that last corner to get that slingshot. But let's have a look at our final positions here, so you can see where your favourite driver finished. So Dennis Johansson, congratulations, takes out round 9 here at Interlagos, followed by, as you said, I've got 8 thousandths of a second from Bob Batala in second. Borja Zazzo comes home in third, followed by David McDonald in fourth. Fantastic drive by David. Gonzalo Camara home in fifth. Sixth was Ben Snell. Carlos Sorrentes finishes in seventh, followed by Mick Gray in eighth. Alex John comes home in ninth. Dennis Fiedler in 10th. Home in 11th was Inigo Bayer, then followed by Kevin Henderson in 12th. Sam Catacasinos comes home in 13th. Cesar Armengod in 14th. Russell Clark 15th. Benjamin Soko, he comes home in 16th. But I reckon David McDonald must be the mover and shaker. I'm not sure where he started, but I know he was mid-pack.
Yeah, he started in 8th position up to 4th. He had quite an entertaining race with Kevin Henderson, I'd suggest. They were in the front pack, off the front pack, in it and off it again, and eventually right in the mix as we see him come home in 4th position. Alex J. John, I see Ben Soko and Russell Clark are still out on track playing like Muppets. Alex J. John, along with Inigo Bayer, as we were talking about before, both up 5 positions from their starting spots on the grid. So great to see young Alex having a good run tonight in the top split. It might actually be his first run in the top split, if I'm not mistaken, the second of the Team Milo cars along with Russell Clark. But yeah, big disappointment for Sam Catacasinos after really putting on such a strong performance in the early stages of the race. Just that unfortunate run through the first series of corners and getting turned by Dennis. It's not Dennis's go. It would have been completely unintentional. It was just a misjudgment on his part, I suggest, due to the run that Sam got and the line that he was taking wide of the apex there through turn 3. Very unfortunate incident, but bit gutted for Sam, actually. That would have been an outstanding result. And I'm not sure he's led too many Monday Night Lights races, let alone taken any out. So big shout out to Sam Booney.
Oh, definitely. And, if you look at the bright side there, Sam, when you watch his back, it could have been a lot worse if Bob hadn't have straightened out the front end of your car and got your point in the right direction. I guess that's on the light side. But I tell you what, Sam, he was looking racy tonight. I'd hate to be in the debrief because he'd be a bit hollow by by that incident. Not that it was anyone's fault, but also Kevin Henderson, I reckon he's going to be a bit hot under the collar after this, as we saw coming together, Carlos Sorrentes and Kevin doing the rollover there. A few Aussie guys tonight got their ears boxed a bit.
Yeah, absolutely right. I was going to mention Kevin, as you say. He was on again, off again with that front pack, similar to David McDonald, and it shows. David McDonald shows what you could do as a result. Even though they were dropped a couple of times and they fought their way back, largely it has to be said through the efforts of Kevin. I'd have to say his pace was really good, and he managed to bridge that gap in conjunction with the battling of the front runners. Really unfortunate there. Carlos, we'd mentioned a couple of times, was having a great run. He ultimately finished 7th. But, just really misjudged that run through the sweeping corner at turn 6. Kicked himself up off the inside ripple strip, not on the optimal line. And Kevin just was the unfortunate bystander there, ended up doing a couple of pirouettes. Real shame for Kevin, who's been having a really strong season. His iRating he's worked really hard on. We've spoken to him about it before. He's commentating with the Super Skips and really contributing to the community that way as well. So disappointing result for Kevin this week. Hopefully it'll be bigger and better next week, Benny.
Yeah, well, that's right. He'll bounce back from that, and we'll see how we go. We're just having a look here at a few of the replays. The first one, Sam Catacasinos on Dennis Johansson here, and we'll try and get a better view of what happened. And just saw there, Dennis got in the back of him, Bob Batala straightened him up, but that was the end of Sam Katakizinos' race as far as a fantastic result. And then the other one, which we'll jump to now, was the incident, as you just said, and that was Carlos Sorrentes and Kevin Henderson. I think that was lap 11.
Yeah, it was coming towards the closing stages there, Bernie. Now, speaking of young Kevin, we've got a few people down in the green room, including Kevin. Do you think he's cooled down enough for me to bring him up?
We'll just have a look at the replay and then the viewers can answer that.
Well, our options, we've got a couple waiting down there. Simon, no doubt, waiting to tell us about how the second split race went, along with young Alex John as well. I think it's his first appearance, as we said, but we can find out. So who's your pick to come up first?
Well, since we're watching Kevin do a triple roll there and Carlos spinning out, let's bring Kevin up and you can ask him what his thoughts are of this incident.
All right, I'll bring him up. Hang on. Kevin, Alex McKellar here from the RRTV commentary booth. Welcome along. Quite an action-packed race, mate. An unfortunate end between yourself and Carlos taking what turned out to be quite a tragic line through turn 6 for you, mate. You were on again, off again, love affair with that leading pack came to an abrupt end. How did you find it?
Alex, yeah, that contact with Carlos is disappointing. I drove really well up until then. Like I clawed back to the front pack a couple of times because David kept, every time I dragged back into him, David would stick his nose up.
Yeah, that's right. It looked like you two were having a battle every now. I think we even called it during the broadcast that you made your way back onto the front pack, and then David and yourself were trading places almost, and that cost you some time again. So, yeah, it was an interesting, like I said, on again, off again love affair with that leading bunch. But I thought you were progressing quite well there once you managed to get on for the final time. And I don't know if you had a chance to look at the replay, but Carlos really got an awkward line through there and eventually kicked off the ripple strip straight into you, and the Russian judge probably penalised you a bit for not sticking the landing, mate, but it certainly brought your night to an abrupt end.
Yeah, Alex, I've had a look at the replay. He was fully off the track before he got to me, so, it's just a rush of blood. What can you do?
Yeah, that's right, mate. A tragic end to an otherwise spectacular race. Bernie, I'll hand you over to have a chat to Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, welcome to the Combox. Bad luck, mate. You were looking really racy there, but one thing you did prove tonight, and that is skippies don't fly. So bad luck anyway. Trying to make light of it, but it was pretty intense out there tonight. I tell you what, though, you had the top 7 in that battle pack, so that must have been fantastic racing up until that point.
Yeah, Bernie, they don't fly, they do hop and jump, but give a little bit. But yeah, no, look, I was really happy with my race tonight. I put me down for one, Alex. I blew the engine in qualifying, so I only got one lap in.
Oh, no, I wondered why you were so far back, mate.
Yeah, so I blew an engine, so yeah, I didn't qualify as well as I wanted to, and from there I just had to really, just hit me marks and go.
Yeah, well, it was a great race. It was swapping around up the front all race long, and I know the viewers enjoyed it, so thanks for entertaining us. And bad luck on that incident, though, but you'll bounce back, so to speak, and come back for probably the Super Skips this Sunday night.
Yeah, no, I'm in the Combox with you, Barney.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, it's safer up here, apart from when Alex is in here, but, it'll be right. I'll bring the pistachios, you bring the beer.
I'll just bring me Skippy to crack the nuts with, mate. Seems to be the go.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Well, before we let you go, any shout-outs tonight?
RRTV, Bernie, Alex, and Mark Jeffries from the livery. Thanks, guys.
Fantastic.
Good night, all.
Night. Well, that wasn't too bad.
So, no, he was in quite good spirits, wasn't he?
He was. So got Alex John down there. Alex is an interesting person because he's actually using the Rift to do a lot of his racing these days, and he does put up his replays on YouTube, so it's definitely worth checking him out. But when we bring him up, we'll ask him to let the viewers know where that channel is, so they can go and see what VR racing's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just bring him up now. Hang on a second. Alex McKellar here for the RRTV commentary team, mate. Welcome aboard. Looks like you had a great result there in P9. Am I right in saying this was your first top split event, mate?
Second top split event, but I was actually hoping to be second split tonight just to have a nice relaxing race, but ended up in the top split, so and a good result in the end.
Yeah, fantastic result, mate. Well inside the points for this week. Fantastic racing by the looks. Looks like you copped a couple of freebies there at the end through the late race action, but there was certainly a big pack at the front. Did you manage to get much action in with that front pack there, Alex?
No, I was back with Dennis and Mick for most of the race, and yeah, I think we gained probably 5 or 6 spots because of the guys taking each other out the front, but we had a great race anyway at the back.
Yeah, certainly action throughout the field by the looks. Yeah, you're right. You're up 5 spots from your starting position, and like I said, well inside the points, but definitely an action-packed race nonetheless. But I'll hand you over to Bernie, who's keen to find out more about the VR experience.
Yeah, Alex, welcome to the Combox. I was watching your channel through the week and noticed you were running your VR equipment. Were you running it again tonight?
Yeah, I've been running VR since I've had it. I wouldn't go back to a single monitor now.
Yeah, so I was having a look. I was almost going to buy one through the week, but I'm just not sure what the quality's like at the moment. As far as you're concerned, how does it go for distance? And tell the viewers what it's like compared to running a single monitor.
Yeah, well, I was running a 29-inch ultra wide, and the field of view is actually a little bit wider than that single monitor. So to me, I think it's definitely an improvement on a single. If I was coming from triples, I'd maybe be a bit more questionable about whether it's worth the $750 I think it cost. And yeah, the resolution is a drawback, but when you're having battles, like I had a great battle tonight with Dennis and Mick, and we're going 3 wide into turn 1, and you're panning around and seeing where everybody is. It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? The immersion looks off the hook from what I've seen of your videos. It looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm pretty sure that we've got a few adopters now picking it up, and all of them say they wouldn't go back. A few guys have gone from triples across, or vice versa, going back, but quite a few guys I know are starting to pick it up and run with it. It's going to be interesting when the next versions come out in a couple of years, if they can improve the graphic quality, because I think as soon as they do that, triple screens will be a thing of the past, and we'll all be in VR. But tell the viewers where they can find your YouTube channel, because your videos are pretty good, and I think they'd really enjoy watching them.
Yeah, I think my YouTube channel is called Alex John in VR. I can't even remember now, actually. I'll put a link up on the forums, or maybe on this video, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been trying to do a couple of videos, and I actually recorded this one tonight and just had a look, and it didn't pick up any sound apart from my Darth Vader deep breathing. So I don't think I'll put it up, but yeah, I'll try and get a few more up in the coming weeks.
I think you should put it up so we can all hear how full-on sim racing can be as far as breathing goes.
I'll maybe try and find some really horrid music to put to the back of it.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic driving out there, Alex, and yeah, thanks for sharing the VR. But have you got any final thoughts about VR and sim racing?
Yeah, like if people are wondering whether to jump on board now, I'd say definitely if you've got a single, do it. And don't be waiting for the version 2s, because I think the Rift version 2 is still about, I think 2019, I think they said, and the I just read today that the Vive, they're not looking to release anything until they can make a substantial improvement. And on top of that, the Microsoft headsets are due to come out around August, September. But looking at a couple of reviews that have come out this week, is looking like they're probably not going to match the quality of the Rift and the Vive. So if you're wanting to jump on board but you're holding back because you don't know if you should wait for the second versions, I'd say just go for it now because it's going to be a fair while.
Yeah, especially now that the Rift's discounted, they've also thrown in a bundle where you can get those fancy hand control-y things. And I think it's about 600 and something US. One of the viewers had a question for you, and that is using the VR, do you get any like serious eye strain after a few races, and how long can you go wearing it for?
The first couple of times I used it, I probably spent a bit too long in it. I think the most I've done is probably like 4 or 5 hours in a day. But after one race, absolutely no problem. But probably if I was to be doing it every day for a couple of hours a day, I do feel a bit of eye strain. So I try and limit it to 2 or 3 races at the most.
Okay, fantastic. Alex McCullough, did you have any more questions for Alex, John?
No, I'm good, thanks, mate. It's certainly great to get that first-hand experience. I had a limited crack at it myself, but to get the day-in, day-out user experience is certainly good insight for our viewers, I would have thought, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly is, and thanks, Alex, for coming up, and definitely put your link in the chat channel if you can, so the viewers can find you, and I'll also put it in the description of this video in case anyone's watching the replay.
No worries, and I better just say go Team Milo before I head off.
Nice one. All right, mate, we'll catch you on the weekend.
Catch ya.
So our final interview tonight, Alex, will be Simon Chambers for a bit of a split 2 or 3 report.
Absolutely, I'll just bring him up now. Did you want to go first or you want me to talk to him?
Oh, you're on a roll, mate.
All right, I'll give it a go. Simon Chambers, Alex McKellar here for the RRTV commentary team, mate. Welcome aboard. Just looking to get your insights into the second split, mate. How was the racing out on track tonight?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I was part of the first pack, so we managed to get away from the rest of them. I think there was some trouble behind us, so exciting early on, but probably a bit boring later.
Yeah, okay. We certainly up here had a battle pack of 10 going at one point with really tight times. The racing here during the week, in my experience, certainly has been a mixed bag of tight racing. The odd mistake or here could ruin your night, but certainly it's been, like I said, a bit of a mixed bag. The racing tonight, how did you end up finishing, mate?
Yeah, pretty well. I was car number 7, qualified 4th, ended up 3rd. But yeah, it was tough to maintain the grip out there. I was behind Darryl Ridley and Jason Willman the whole way. They finished 1st and 2nd, with me 3rd. We kept up with Darryl in the early stages, but I think Jason started concentrating on me behind him, and we lost Darryl, and then I made a little mistake coming out of the last corner with 5 to go, and lost Jason's draft. So we ended up like that, and a few good guys dropped away behind us.
Well, I've got to say, you're in very good company there, Simon. If you've kept up with Jason Willman and Darryl Ridley, 2 top split regulars in seasons gone by, and I know Darryl in particular has got outstanding pace. So for you to keep up with them is a great effort on your part, mate. And to finish 3rd to them is no disgrace at all. I have to say that's very impressive. So congratulations on that result. I'll hand it over to Bernie for a bit of a chat.
Yeah, hi Simon, welcome to the Combox, mate. Looking at the Australian Super Skips this Sunday night, I think we're heading over to Watkins Glen.
Yeah, that's right, we're on the shorter layout. I think it's called Cup or Club, I don't know. So it should be interesting, and yeah, a bit of a different strategy. It's the shortest track so far on the calendar.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is, though, I know the official racing is going to the same track, so the guys can really get their cars set up in the official racing, get ready to go for Sunday night, and it should be really good racing.
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. And that's the idea too, to try and get it on the track that the guys are familiar with. And we're just waiting for the next season to come out so we can line up those tracks. Any duplications we'll just use the week before. So, yeah, everyone will be familiar with the track.
Fantastic. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to covering that on RRTV, Simon. But until then, mate, you got any people you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Not really. Maybe if you're a steward of the Australasian Super Skips, get on and please review the incidents that are there. But that's about it from me. Thanks.
No worries. Fantastic, Simon. Well, Alex, we're getting to the end of the night. It's been quite an entertaining race tonight. Fair bit of action there, but as you said, up to 10 cars on that battle train for most of that race. It was pretty full on, and surprisingly, really only 2 major incidents.
Absolutely, Bernie. Fairly typical of the racing here this week. Although I have to say the standard of the driving here really represented the quality of the field, because when I say typical of the racing here, you'd often see a breakaway pack and guys working together to get that initial break and then sorting themselves out towards the end of the race once they'd established enough of a gap to battle for the win, so to speak. But to see a battle pack of 10 cars for the majority of the race off and on was really quite impressive. And like I said, spoke to the calibre of the drivers. Really impressed with the pace and persistence and dogged determination of Kevin Henderson to get back onto that lead pack, not once but probably 3 times in the end. But certainly an action-packed race in terms of the final results. As you said, a couple of major incidents which again probably shaped the final results as you would expect, and again that's somewhat typical of the racing here this week. But look, I really enjoyed that race. Fantastic field once again, with plenty of action on show for the viewers. Interestingly, with Russell Clark not scoring any points tonight, not bettering his season tally, and Luke Whitten not being here, I haven't been able to find the results of the second split yet, but certainly stations are held, so to speak, at the top of the order there. Kevin Henderson, just that fight to hang on to 12th has scored him some points tonight, so I don't think it's quite enough to edge him up into third, but it'd be pretty close with the final standings to be determined later tonight when I do the results, Bernie. So certainly still plenty to play for in the closing weeks.
Yeah, well, I'd expect Mick Gray to probably close in on Kevin Henderson. I think he finished just ahead of him, so he'll close that gap slightly. I'm not sure how many points he'll get, but you'll work all that out. But, yeah, fantastic racing by all concerned tonight. We noticed earlier David McDonald, he came up and finished, 4th or 5th. So he was one of the big movers and shakers. Did you find any other drivers out there that have worked their way up through the field?
Yeah, just our previous interview guest, Alex John, he was up 5 spots into 9th. Great result for him. I'd have to go back and check if that's not his best finish for the event, as it was only his second outing, as it turns out. And Inigo B, who's new to the series, of course. We haven't seen that name before. He was up 5 spots from last on the grid, just to be just outside the top 10 and 11th. So a couple of big movers there. But, yeah, you'd have to say that, again, like Kevin, the patience and persistence of David McDonald rewarded with a top 5 finish there, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. And the other guys that we saw very racy tonight, Sam Katakazinos and Kevin Henderson, unfortunately, both of those guys were involved in incidents, but I'm sure Sam really would have enjoyed his time up the front there, and he was looking really good tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm going to have a laugh, because those two, it doesn't seem to matter what goes on. They end up finding each other on the track eventually, and they finish 12th and 13th, even though they didn't actually race terribly much together. It's just quite amusing. They always end up together, Bernie.
Yeah, they certainly do. But folks, looking at the week ahead, we have a few broadcasts you may be interested in. We're going back to the Australian Online Supercar Championship this Friday night, and I've got to see where we're going. I had it all lined up, but it's a 150 at Phillip Island, so it's going to be a 150k race full of action. If you missed the broadcast last Friday night, check it out on our YouTube channel. It was a cracker of a race, and if you like your V8, you'll love that. And as far as the skippies go, well, we're back Sunday night for the Australasian Super Skips, and I look forward to bringing you that action on RRTV.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be out on track for that one. Really looking forward to that. It's a very enjoyable series. If you're interested in joining us on track there, head over to the league section on the iRacing website, look up Australasian Super Skips, flick us a join request. Simon or myself or one of the other admins will have a look and see if you're up to muster, so to speak. But fantastic series off to Watkins Glen, as we mentioned. The shorter layout there, which will be interesting. It's been a very, very popular track in the larger boot configurations in the past 2 seasons. So I'm expecting a big turnout once again. It's not as technical as some of the tracks we've visited in recent times. So very accessible to the new and old drivers alike, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to see some streaming through the week, folks, check out the Top Split Twitch TV, and your good mate here, Alex McCullough, will be out there showing his style. And hopefully, if you go to the RRTV live, you might even catch me not showing my style, but it'll be worth a laugh all the same.
Absolutely. It's been great to see you on track a couple of times in the recent weeks, Bernie. I look forward to seeing more. But yeah, head on over to the Top Split TV Twitch channel. I've been getting on a few nights a week and having a laugh. It's certainly adds I have to say, a really enjoyable element to the racing, just something different to the stress and tension that sometimes tight racing can bring. And having a bunch of people there having a laugh while you're racing is a lot of fun. So get on board with that, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. And also check out the new Twitch channel for RRTV. That's RRTV Live. It's going to be a bit of a different channel. It's not going to be for broadcasting. It's more going to be for Let's Drive type videos, and possibly a few Let's Play. If I don't feel like doing iRacing, well, you might see me playing Banished or Skyrim or something else other than racing, but it's going to be mainly racing from the first person perspective, which is my perspective, which is not a very good perspective, but it's all good all the same.
It's a lot of fun, mate. A few people do a variety of different games. I've been known to throw up a different game every now and then, but yeah, it makes the world of gaming accessible to everyone, and certainly makes everyone their own little rock star, so to speak.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But anyway, folks, we've come to the end of yet another broadcast here of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know the chat channel in there is going like gangbusters at the moment, and I thank everyone that has joined us live tonight. And your podium for tonight, Dennis Johansson takes out the win, followed by Bob Battala in second, and Gonzalo's Camara is in third. So on behalf of Alex McCullough, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to your company next time. Good night.